Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. I have to eat some major crow. Derek Chisora defeats Joyce over a 10-round unanimous decision in a fight that was messy, but a war. Really good fight, and a fight in which, in my opinion, Derek Chisora deserved to win. For my money, he landed the more eye-catching, heavy shots throughout the bout. He dropped Joyce in round 9, I believe it was, with an overhand right. And all in all, I felt he got the job done. And I'm surprised because, Derek in his last couple of fights, he's been around forever, man. He's taken some serious beatings. But the last couple of fights in particular, I felt he looked shot to bits, even against Gerald Washington. In a fight he won, just about. I felt he looked awful. So going into this fight, I have to admit I wasn't feeling it at all. I actually didn't think Chisora should have been put in this fight, but he's proven me wrong. He put on a great display, and yeah, again, I felt he was the rightful winner. I felt Chisora started the fight really well. He came out in round 1 and actually initiated a body attack on Joyce, spamming the left and right hooks to the body, putting those shots together. Trying to crowd Joyce. Joyce was touching and prodding and probing, but Joyce definitely got outlanded in my opinion in round 1. Joyce did land a good check left hook towards the end of round 1 that momentarily buzzed Chisora. Nothing too hard, but a good shot by Joyce, but yeah, I felt he got outlanded. And quite frankly, I felt in the first half of this fight, Chisora was the guy who was landing the eye-catching shots in general. It was weird because Joyce maybe was throwing more, but his shots looked so ineffective. They were clubbing, they were cuffing, whereas a lot of Chisora's shots you could see from a mile away. The big overhand right throughout this fight, from round 1 to round 10, that overhand right was landing from Chisora. Bang on the chin. Joyce never once lifted his lead hand, his left hand, to try and block or deflect those shots. He never tried to take his head off center line, never showed any adjustments to those punches. And yeah, Chisora was able to have a field day with the overhand right. And in the first half of this bout, I felt Joyce looked sluggish. It looked like he was forcing his work. He couldn't get his rhythm going. And as a result, I felt after the first half of this fight, Chisora was up, Second half of this fight, I felt Joyce came back into it. He started to put it on Chisora a little bit more. Started to land some more consequential shots, and it looked like Chisora was being a little bit more economical with his work, and he looked absolutely knackered as well, like he looked spent, but he was still able to fire the overhand. But in the second half of this fight, he was starting to get outworked. There was a moment in round, I think it was at the end of round 8 or round 7, where I think Chisora got caught with a looping shot by Joyce, like a looping right hand. And it looked like it hurt Chisora. Chisora backed up into the corner. Joyce tried to put it on him, but to Chisora's credit, he did a pretty good job of defending himself. He was slipping and sliding, trying to make himself an elusive target. And yeah, Joyce couldn't really capitalize on when he hurt Chisora. But at this point, while I still maybe had Chisora ahead, I felt like Chisora needed a moment in this fight because I felt he was starting to flag. He found that moment in round 9. Once again, Joyce started aggressively. Derek was really kind of trying to walk Joyce onto the overhand right, which he was doing. And on one occasion, he backed himself back up to the ropes. Joyce came in, and he just landed the overhand right as Joyce came in, and it dropped Joyce. Joyce wasn't hurt, but he was dropped. He got straight back up, but it's a 10-8 round, and that was big for Derek Chisora. And that was round 9. Round 10... last round of this fight. By the way, I've got no idea why it was a 10-rounder, not a 12-rounder. But, yeah, round 10, Joyce comes out aggressive. He's trying to go for the knockout. It's pretty clear. He actually lands some good shots in round 12, but Chisora uses Joyce's aggression against him, walks him into some big overhand rights. We had a really good round 10, final round 10. Good stuff by both men. And yeah, the fight ended. It was a slugfest. It was a good battle, but ultimately I felt Chisora was the guy who did the job in this fight. I felt he rightfully got his hand raised, and he shocked me, to be honest. He really did. He says he wants 50 fights. That was his 48th fight. So yeah, that's what his goal is. As for Joyce, it's going to be hard to come back from this. That's all I'll say. You know, if he had any ambition of fighting at world level, this was a fight he had to win, and he failed. So it's going to be a long way back for Joyce. 38 years old, 3 defeats in his last 4 fights. You know, the Zhili Zhang fights could be written off almost because of what Zhili Zhang went on to do. But Derek Chisora, man, he's been seen as a spent force for a long time. So it's going to be hard to come back from. Maybe he should retire. But yeah, anyway, share your thoughts below. What did you think of this fight? I quite enjoyed it. It was a bit messy, but it was a good fight. Share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Delboy. Peace.